Welcome, fellow collectors. Travis here with Shoebox Treasures. I want to do something a little fun today. I want to take a look at the 1971 Topps Football Series, but not just the series as a whole. I want to look at the rookie cards that many people miss when going through the set. So let's take a look. So when most people are looking through the 1971 Topps sets, they're looking for the Terry Bradshaws, the Joe Greens, the Charlie Joiners, the Charlie Sanders, the Willie Laniers. They're looking for those Hall of Fame rookies. When I go through the 1971 Topps set, I'm looking for the superstars that many people miss. Some you've definitely heard of. Others you may not have even known existed. So without further ado, let's start going through some cards. As I've said before, the most underrated tight end in the 1970s, maybe even all-time, Bob Tucker.
The passing game had led the Giants back to the winner's circle, and the key figure was Bob Tucker, who led the NFC in receiving despite missing 2 complete games. Tucker came to the Giants as a free agent, but his sure hands and elusive feet brought stardom and made him the first tight end ever to win the receiving crown.
And we have MacArthur Lane running back for the Cards. What a beautiful rookie card this is. Next, Lamar Parrish.
While number 20 cornerback Lamar Parrish did an excellent imitation of Lem Barney.
One half of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Jim Kick.
Strong guy that's also a real threat coming out of the backfield, catching the football.
It was no coincidence that Kick's versatile style drew comparisons to Frank Gifford.
A powerhouse in the 1970s, Ron Johnson. George Coons.
2 points. And then the offense took over, featuring the near-perfect quarterbacking of conference-leading passer Bob Berry. And the timely receiving of fullback Art Malone, number 25.
Known for his NFL folly, Garo Yepremian.
A 42-yard attempt by Yepremian. Snaps it down. The kick is blocked. Rolling loose on the field. It is picked up by Garo. He tries to throw a pass.
One of the top safeties of the 1970s, Rick Volk.
Back, Rick Volk short-circuited Chicago's chances for a touchdown when he picked off Rudy Bukich's flat pass and sailed 94 yards to the game-breaking touchdown.
But Meredith is pressured badly, and his off-balance pass is intercepted by Rich Volk. The clock runs out in the first half as the Cowboys go to the locker room with a hard-earned 14-10.
Mr. Clutch, Mark Mosley.
By the Washington Redskins in 1974. During his time with the Redskins, Mosley became an All-Pro, and in 1982, he became the NFL's MVP, the first time that a kicker had received the honor. He remains the franchise's all-time leading scorer with 1,207 points. Before retiring from football in 1987, he was successful on 300 out of 457 attempts, successful on 482 out of 512 extra points attempts, and scored a total of 1,000.
Carl Garrett.
Scooting through a mass defense under control. Rounds out his talents as a skilled pass receiver, but while he is sleek and racy like a go-kart,
Cowboys superstar Dwayne Thomas.
Film work paid off. Dwayne Thomas led the Cowboys with 95 yards rushing. As a team, they piled up a record 252 yards on the ground. The Cowboys disguised.
Not just because I'm a Dolphin fan, but arguably the greatest safety of the 1970s, Mr. Jake Scott. It is a damn shame he's not in the Hall of Fame. A household name and legend, Mercury Morris.
Morris was so elusive and quick, he earned the nickname Mercury while playing his college ball at West Texas State.
It stuck when Life magazine came down in 1968.
Legendary coach, Marty Schottenheimer.
10 out of 11 times Schottenheimer has beaten the Los Angeles Raiders.
When Marty Schottenheimer got here.
Wide receiver, Preston Pearson.
Staubach looking right, lobbing towards Pearson. Great catch over Ken Geddes for the third Cowboy touchdown.
What a catch. What a great catch did he make. Out of the backfield. A little roll action. Perfect throw by Staubach. Watch his dive. Leaves his feet. Oh, what a catch. Great effort, great concentration. And they beat Geddes for the touchdown.
Preston Pearson, a 9-year veteran out of Illinois. Played so well for Pittsburgh. Picked up by Dallas. That's the third touchdown pass he's caught. He's run for two. What a...
Steeler running back, John Fuqua.
Actually become a regular in the starting lineup. Through the first 13 weeks of the 1970 season, Fuqua started every game for the Steelers. For the first half of the season, Fuqua didn't get a whole lot of touches, only carrying the ball 39 times for 135 yards, averaging about 3.4 yards per carry. In one game against the Houston Oilers, he had 1 rushing yard on 4 carries, and in another game against the Cincinnati Bengals, in one of the more bizarre stat lines of the year, he finished the game with 3 rushes for negative 17 yards. However, by the second half of the season, he was regularly touching the ball, and was doing a...
quarterback Mike Phipps.
Phipps rolled out, faked a pass at the line, and then brushed past 2 Dolphins and squeezed his way into the end zone for a Cleveland touchdown. At the start of the final period, Miami stood his ground despite a hard rush by number 84 Bill Stanfill, and it paid off with a touchdown to Fairhooker all alone at the goal line.
Bears legend Bobby Douglas.
And Bobby Douglas made one of his only 2 completions count as he hit Earl Thomas, number 82, for 1 score.
Cedric Hardman. One of the most durable quarterbacks the NFL has ever seen, Greg Landry. Cowboy legend Walt Garrison.
Again, the play fake by Staubach. And again, going to Garrison. Garrison fumbles the ball into the end zone. Drew Pearson. Good way to get it.
Now you may be asking why I chose those 21 players. A lot of those guys you've probably heard of before. Mercury Morris, Lamar Parrish, Jake Scott. If you haven't heard of Jake Scott, you're not a football fan. But the other guys, you know, even Greg Landry, George Coons, those are not household names. Those are guys that were huge in the 1970s and 80s, but had been forgotten along the way. Why did I pick those guys? Here's my reasoning. Those 21 guys appeared in 43 Pro Bowls, combined for 24 All-Pro selections, and even one of them, the one you would least expect, Mr. Garo Yepremian, is on the 1970s All-Decade team. He's known more for his backward pass volley, but Yepremian is one of the greatest kickers of all time. A lot of people will go through, as I said in the beginning, and they're going for the Hall of Famers, but you can't go wrong with a MacArthur Lane. You can't go wrong with a George Coons. Coons was a 5-time All-Pro. Just him. Volk was a 3-time All-Pro. Lamar Parrish, 5-time All-Pro. You know, you really can't go wrong with any of those guys. They're more affordable. You know, if you can't afford the Terry Bradshaw, there's no reason you can't pick up a Bobby Douglas or a Mike Phipps or a Greg Landry. All very, very good quarterbacks, even borderline great quarterbacks. Same thing. If you can't afford a Charlie Sanders, Lamar Parrish, his stats are equal to, if not greater, than Charlie Sanders. And that's just how I look at it. I'm looking for a way to grow my collection, not just in quantity, but also quality. So I look for those guys. Mark Mosley's not a big name because he's a kicker, but he had a phenomenal career. As always, thank you for joining me. Never stop collecting, and we'll see you next time.